Why Barbie Ferreira should have starred in Vogue's Hairspray tribute instead of Gigi Hadid. When Vogue released its highly anticipated tribute to the Broadway musical Hairspray, the project was expected to celebrate the show's iconic themes: self-love, racial integration, rebellion against societal norms, and, most crucially, body positivity. But instead, the tribute found itself mired in controversy, mostly because of one casting decision: Gigi Hadid as Tracy Turnblad. While Gigi Hadid is one of the most recognizable and influential supermodels in the world, many fans and critics were quick to argue that she was miscast for a role that has historically served as a touchstone for plus-size visibility in media. Many felt that actress and model Barbie Ferreira, known for her unapologetic presence, boundary-breaking activism, and personal connection to the values Hairspray represents, would have been a more culturally and thematically appropriate choice. Here's why Barbie Ferreira was the tribute star we needed and deserved. Understanding Hairspray. Why representation isn't just important, it's essential. Hairspray isn't just a splashy, feel-good retro musical set to catchy tunes and colorful choreography. It's a radical story born from the heart of 1960s Baltimore, a tale that champions the misfits, the marginalized, and the ones who dared to defy the rules. At the center of it all is Tracy Turnblad, a vibrant, plus-size teenager whose big dreams and even bigger heart challenge the status quo. But Tracy's story is more than just a personal journey to dance on the corny Collins show. It's a cultural revolution wrapped in hairspray and rhythm. Through Tracy, Hairspray confronts fat phobia, systemic racism, social conformity, and gender expectations. Her size isn't just a visual detail, it's the very lens through which we experience her resilience, rejection, and eventual triumph. She isn't a sidekick, a punchline, or a makeover subject. She is the star. A rarity in media then and now. That's what makes Tracy's character so revolutionary. She represents every young person who's ever been told they're too much to fit in, too big, too loud, too ambitious. Her unrelenting self-confidence isn't just inspiring, it's disruptive in the best way. It tells viewers, especially young women and girls with larger bodies, that they don't need to shrink themselves to find joy, love, or a spotlight. So when a conventionally thin supermodel like Gigi Hadid is cast to embody Tracy in a tribute, it feels like a betrayal of everything Hairspray has stood for. No matter how talented or beloved she may be, her casting inadvertently erases the narrative of body acceptance that has made Hairspray so enduring and important. It sanitizes a story that was never meant to be polished. It was meant to be bold, brave, and radically inclusive. By removing visible body diversity from the portrayal, the tribute dilutes the original message. It replaces a revolutionary moment with a safe one, and that matters, not because of personal attacks or petty judgments, but because representation shapes perception. And perception, especially for marginalized bodies, has real-world consequences. Barbie Ferreira, a voice, a body, and a spirit that represents. Barbie Ferreira didn't just step onto the scene, she kicked the door open. She rose to stardom through her raw and empowering portrayal of Kat Hernandez on HBO's Euphoria, a character whose journey with body image, sexual identity, and personal power struck a deep chord with viewers worldwide. Kat wasn't a sidekick or a stereotype. She was a full, complicated, confident young woman navigating a world that often made her feel too big to be seen. Barbie brought her to life with rare honesty, reshaping how television portrayed plus-size youth. But Barbie's influence reaches far beyond the screen. Before becoming a breakout actress, she was already challenging the fashion industry's narrow ideals as a successful plus-size model and outspoken activist. She refused to conform to industry pressures, instead demanding space for people of all shapes and identities. Whether she was walking runways, appearing in campaigns, or speaking in interviews, Barbie became a beacon for fat acceptance, mental health advocacy, and authentic self-expression. She didn't just talk about change, she lived it. Her defiance of traditional beauty standards and her refusal to shrink herself, physically or metaphorically, make her the embodiment of Tracy Turnblad's spirit. Tracy was bold, defiant, joyful, and unafraid to take up space in a world that told her she didn't belong. Barbie is all of that and more. Had she been cast in Vogue's Hairspray tribute, it wouldn't have just been good casting, it would have been a cultural moment. a declaration, a nod to every plus-sized girl who's ever felt invisible. Barbie's presence would have honored the musical's radical roots and underscored its core message, that beauty, worth, beauty, and talent are not size-dependent. In a world still saturated with unrealistic beauty norms, Barbie Ferreira isn't just an actress or a model, she's a movement. And in 2025, that movement deserves to be front and center in our most iconic stories, not left on the sidelines. Criticism of Gigi Hadid's casting, a missed message. While Gigi Hadid is undeniably one of the most recognizable faces in modern fashion, graceful, talented, and globally admired, her casting as Tracy Turnblad struck many as glaringly tone-deaf. Not because of who she is, but because of what she represents in contrast to the story she was chosen to tell. Hairspray is not just about girlhood dreams and catchy musical numbers, it's about challenging the norms that have long excluded, mocked, or diminished certain bodies. Tracy's size is not a footnote in her story, it's central to how the world treats her, and how she boldly defies those judgments. To overlook that is to strip the story of its most subversive power. The backlash was swift and impassioned. On Reddit, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, fans flooded threads with frustration, noting how lyrics that once celebrated Tracy's curves had been quietly revised, replacing bold affirmations of body pride with vague, palatable messages of confidence and belonging. To many, it felt like a betrayal, a watering down of a character who was never meant to blend in. Critics pointed out that casting a conventionally thin supermodel in a role rooted in body inclusivity sends a damaging message, that even in stories meant to empower plus-size individuals, thinness is still the default. As one viral post put it, Gigi Hadid didn't fail the role, the casting failed the message. Another fan commented, "Tracy's journey speaks to the real discrimination faced by larger-bodied women. Giving her story to someone who's never had to experience that turns Hairspray into a costume, not a cause." Of course, the frustration isn't personal, it's structural. Gigi didn't ask to be the face of this controversy, but the criticism reveals a deeper truth. Representation isn't just about who can perform, it's about who has lived the experience and who needs to be seen. In trying to glamorize and streamline Hairspray for a high-fashion tribute, the creative team ended up muting the very things that made the musical revolutionary. And in doing so, they reminded us how quickly even the boldest stories can be softened to fit a more palatable mold. Another noted, Vogue had the opportunity to truly honor Hairspray's message, and they chose aesthetic over authenticity. Missed opportunity for cultural impact. Representation matters, especially when it comes to a musical like Hairspray, which has always served as a love letter to underrepresented communities. Vogue's tribute was more than just a fashion feature or nostalgic performance, it was a platform to champion inclusivity. And in 2025, with the ongoing push for genuine diversity in media, this moment could have set a new standard. Had Barbie Ferreira starred as Tracy, the tribute would have spoken to the current cultural climate. It would have uplifted plus-sized individuals, reminding audiences that beauty and brilliance exist at every size. It would have inspired young girls who don't see themselves reflected on magazine covers, television screens, or Broadway stages. Instead, the message was muddled, and the execution felt like a retreat into safe, conventional casting. Conclusion: fashion can be activism when done right. In an age where media is finally beginning to embrace different body types, Vogue had the chance to lead by example. By casting Barbie Ferreira as Tracy Turnblad, they could have stayed faithful to the soul of Hairspray, celebrated body positivity in an honest way, and highlighted an actress whose career and activism perfectly align with the story's themes. Instead, their decision to go with Gigi Hadid, a beloved but traditionally cast figure, diluted the very message Hairspray has championed for decades. There's still time to get it right. As fashion and entertainment continue evolving, casting choices must be more than visually appealing. They need to reflect the realities and richness of the stories we tell. And in that spirit, it's clear: Barbie Ferreira wasn't just a better choice, she was the right one. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below.